Welcome to the May 2024 solar update. This month, several things have been happening. I've had an Octopus Energy Home Mini delivered and I've got that installed. A video will be coming out on that very soon. What else has been happening? The meters still aren't quite correct. I've got a separate account for gas and electric, and Octopus are trying to merge those accounts, although they haven't done it yet because, funnily enough, the Home Mini is connected to the gas account, even though it's an electricity monitor. So that doesn't really help. And my export still isn't being seen by Octopus through the meter, through the smart meter section, and the in-home display is still not working. So a few problems are still carrying on this month. But it's time to have a look at the stats. But before we get into the stats, let's just remind ourselves of my solar panel system. So 14 Jinko 390 watt panels, totaling 5.4 kilowatts, 10 on the south and 4 on the east, and a SolarEdge 4 kilowatt inverter. So that's the solar side. On the battery side, we've got the 3 kilowatt AC inverter and the 8 kilowatt Gen 1 Give Energy battery. And then, of course, I've got a few extra bits and bobs, such as the MyEnergi Eddi heating the hot water, the Harvey and the hub, and the Hypervolt EV charger. Okay, so here we have the month of May 2024. As you can see, for the whole month, 664.48 kilowatt hours. Yeah, it was a real sort of crappy month again, really. The first half of the month was quite good. You know, there were several days, quite a lot of days, over 30 kilowatt hours per day. And then come the middle of the month, it all kind of went a bit wrong, really. And we had some low days, then a couple of good days, and then the rest of the second half of the month was really pretty bad. I mean, the worst day was the 3rd of May, 2 kilowatt hours, very low. And the best day there was 35 kilowatt hours on the 12th of May. But the rest of the month, second half of the month, not so great again. We still had a lot of rain and wind as well. So it wasn't the best of months that I thought it was going to be. So 664 divided by 31 gives us an average of 21.4 kilowatt hours per day. So let's compare this May with last May, and it is not good. It's not looking good. It's a bit like April last month as well. So 2022 we had 738, 2023 735, very close. This year 664. So that is a lot of difference. Just like in April, where it was low down, it's not been as good over the next over those past few months. Whereas June, obviously, typically last year was the best month ever. So I'm hoping for good things this month. So how do we use all that lovely power? Well, this is the MyEnergi dashboard, and in here we can see the Eddi. We use 218 kilowatt hours on the Eddi, heating the hot water through the night and during the daytime for the whole month of May. So again, 2 spikes, the wider, thicker ones at night, where I'd be heating the hot water at 7.5 pence per kilowatt hour on Octopus Intelligent, and then during the daytime a little bit more solar to top it up once people had had their kind of showers in the morning. So if we split the Eddi into daytime and nighttime, you can see here that most of the Eddi is being heated up overnight in the orange color, 137.46 kilowatt hours, which cost around £10 for the month. And then solar daytime, topping up the Eddi hot water, 80 kilowatt hours has gone into the tank. Although you could stop that in a way, I suppose, if you really wanted to, and kind of export that 80 kilowatt hours instead, which would get you a bit more money during the month. But obviously hot water is quite important. So this is the Hypervolt dashboard for the EV charger, and that shows us in May we used a little bit more than in April, and in May we used 412.76 kilowatt hours through the charger. Didn't use the granny charger at all in May, just used the Hypervolt. So for the month of May, we got free charging of 14 kilowatt hours. And then, as I say, the Hypervolt 413 kilowatt hours for both the cars equals 427 kilowatt hours in total. The two mileages for the cars added up to 1,739 miles. And the total cost was £30.96 for those miles. On overnight, of course, 7.5 pence Octopus Intelligent, which works out to be 1.78 pence per mile, with an average for the month of just over 4 miles per kilowatt hour. So this is inside the Octopus Energy dashboard. You can see here what we've used, what we've consumed from the grid during the whole month. Fairly consistent between sort of 20 and 30 kilowatt hours per day. Filling the cars up, filling the battery up, heating the hot water overnight, and anything that kind of else needed doing, such as dishwashers, washing machines, that sort of thing. Peak day there of 37, 38, and the lowest day 14. So for the whole month in May, according to Octopus, we used 863.5 kilowatt hours. Remember, if you're not with Octopus Energy at the moment, then you can switch to Octopus Energy and get a £50 bill credit by using my code ToughSnail7955. More details and links in the video description. So the export on my meter still hasn't been sorted out by Octopus yet. They're not seeing the data. So I'm going to have to go to the Give Energy dashboard here. This is what it shows me. So it shows how much I've exported via solar and how much I've exported from the battery. So you can see here during the day, each day we've got the yellow export to the grid from solar, and then the blue is the battery going out to the grid, which I'd predominantly do at night time or in the evening. If there was anything left in the battery, which there usually is a lot in the summertime, hardly used at all. It'll probably be 80% left by kind of 9-10 o'clock at night, and then I'll start exporting until 10:30 in the evening, when I can start importing and topping up the battery again, ready for the next day. So for the total for the month via Give Energy anyway, as all these numbers are slightly different depending on what system you use, but they say I've exported 456.5 kilowatt hours for the month of May. Right, so let's go through some numbers. So for the grid import then, if we split it up, I've exported the data out of Octopus to have a look at for the various times. So overnight at 7.5 pence on Octopus Intelligent, we used 857.32 kilowatt hours. That came to a total price of £64.30. And then during the daytime, we just used 4.43 kilowatt hours at 27.94 pence a kilowatt hour. That equaled £1.24. And for the export, I've actually put in the number here of 455 kilowatt hours times by the export price of 15 pence a kilowatt hour equals £68.25 exported in May. April obviously was a lot lower, so it's good to see it was 382 in April, so it's good to see that May has increased a fair bit. So for the gas, well, we hardly used any gas. We've sort of turned off the boiler now, and the hot water's being heated overnight by the Eddi and via solar. But we did manage to use 19 kilowatt hours for some reason on one day, probably to heat the water or because the house was cold in May. And at 5.96 pence per kilowatt hour, that equals £1.13. It was also interesting to see, I keep my eye on the gas tracker, the east of England, the average price in May was 4.51 pence. So that gap seems to be closing a little bit now. Now the gas price has come down a little bit, but I do understand we may see that go back up again come winter 2024. But at the moment, the difference between the Octopus gas kind of flexible is 5.96, where the tracker is, on the average, it's 4.51 pence per kilowatt hour. Still a saving. So standing charges, they're always a bit of a dread during the summer, even if you don't use them, which I haven't really with the gas, but the gas is 28.95 pence a day for me in the east of England, times 31 days equals £8.98. even though I barely used any. And the electric is 47.85 pence a day for me on Intelligent Go in the east of England. And if you times that by 31 days, that gives you £14.83. So in total then, the gas, we use £1.13 plus £8.98 for the standing charge, gives us £10.11. And the electric, well, we use £65.54, and we add on the standing charge of £14.83, but then we subtract the export of £68.25, means that the electric for the month, including standing charge, only costs £12.12, which is pretty good, because obviously of that £65.54, we spent £30.96 on EV electric fuel. So in total, the gas and the electric comes to £22.23 for the month. But as you can see, most of that is kind of standing charge, really. So they were the stats for May. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment down below about the stats on your solar setup. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. And of course, like the video if you did. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.